I started my career in 1990 at Goldman Sachs as a bond trader. Went to Wharton Business School and was pretty convinced the way I was going to make a difference in the world was in finance. I met a woman on May 28th, 1998. We went on our first date, and she said, "I don't like investment bankers and I hate New York." And 23 years later, we're still married with 4 children. I went from investment banking to venture capital, trying to adjust to family life and trying to be more active in church, but it lost its meaning to me. And I wanted a deeper experience out of life other than just trying to put together a transaction. We moved our 4 children, 2 dogs, to South Africa to start missions work in Cape Town. I still cherish to this day, realizing that was my place of preparation for the work I would do when I returned back to the States. Coming back, they assigned me to Morristown, New Jersey. Those first 8 months were really difficult in terms of just trying to find money for ministry. In the 8th month, we had Hurricane Irene come through. The church was filled with 4 feet of water. The church had no money, so we didn't pay the flood insurance. We have no capacity to resolve this problem. That Monday, I started emailing people I had met in the 8 months I'd been there and said, "It is my vision for this community is that my church would serve dinner Monday through Friday for the working poor. And if you help me restore the kitchen and the fellowship hall, we will be the place." We were able to raise, within a matter of months, $1.5 million to restore the church and to launch what's now called the Table of Hope. We started in 2010 serving about 70 people a night, and we are now serving 2,000 a week. I realized that the gifts that I have been given by God to engage communities and institutions, it's a gift. But then I also realized that there were a lot of churches who really needed help trying to figure out their finances. Church operates in a very different timeline than what I was used to on Wall Street. And unfortunately, we see too much of it every day, churches closing because they couldn't adapt. And I think about the Moses story, how they could not conceive of actually possessing the promise God had for them. And their punishment was to wander in the wilderness for 39 plus years. There comes a time in every ministry where it's time to cross over. When you're ready to reimagine, to rethink, to cross over, you need capital resources. We started Crossing Capital Group in 2017 to try to address some of those needs that people had. We serve as a bridge from investors, family offices, place-based investors with faith-inspired leaders to really want to transform their communities. People are exhausted. They've tried everything, but we're asking them to fish differently. And so I was led to sort of create a framework and then published a book. Churches that are able to move beyond being stuck are able to go beyond just faith capital or what members are willing to give based upon faith. They're also willing to engage people intellectually. They're able to identify the gifts and abilities of all people, regardless of how they show up. They were able to access social capital. God is always up to something. Every city and every community, it's not just the people in your church, it's not just the people who share your faith, but it's people that God has put a weight on to address issues of food insecurity or homelessness or recidivism recovery. And it's our assignment to know who they are. H is human capital, which is how to measure our impact. The marketplace, they don't know how to measure our faith, but what they do know is when marriages are being saved, when lives are being changed, that's measurable, that's real, people can see it. We're not asking investors to invest in a church. What we're asking them to do is invest in the work of the church, and the work of the church should be community development. And I believe that when you focus there, there's an abundance of resources that will follow. You don't need a mega church to have mega impact. Move the focus off of ritual and put the focus on responsibility in the communities that God has called us to. It could be, instead of having a steeple and stained glass windows that you can't maintain, you build a brand new structure that has condos or apartments. And then on the first level, you've got now brand new worship space that's fully built out. Now, instead of you maintaining a building, the money that you do collect in tithes and offering can now actually support the work of ministry. I think we've led pastors to believe that the reason why they're not successful is because they're not anointed enough, that they don't preach well enough. What I say to them is, it's not God who's failing you. It's the business model of church that's failing you. We need to fish differently. So I was super excited to learn that I've been nominated to receive the Locke Award. Just believe this is just a divine moment and just further affirmation of God's promise. My wife, she is a person of deep faith. When I feel discouraged, she prays for me and encourages me. She always says, I just want to see you win. It's rewarding when we have unexpected blessings like this, because it affirms our commitment to each other, our commitment to this work. Thank you for the Locke Innovative Leader Award. This means so much not only to me, but also to my spouse, to our family. And I pray that we'll be able to create something amazing together, and that those who will come behind us will be thankful that we came this way.